Ms. Maphumulo.
Uh, Good afternoon, Chief Justice.
I noticed that your qualifications are BProc.
Yes,
And did diploma legume come before or after BProc?
it was after BProc.
Yes, because it's either you have diploma juris
No,
or a degree before you can do legume, isn't it?
yes,
It's not a first degree, a first diploma.
In fact, I did a BProc and then I did an LLB, but I decided to convert the LLB to a diploma legal.
Legume, did you do it at Haras?
No, I didn't do it Haras. I did it with UNISA.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
And you also have an LLM degree.
yes.
Did you write a dissertation or was it
No,
through
as I
coursework?
No, it's a coursework. Some of the papers were from the LLB, and then some of them were from the LLM. So it was a combination of two.
How many papers in all for the LLM program?
I think there were the LLM were 2, and then the LLB one were 4, and then they comprised. Then they made an LLM.
No short dissertation.
No, the dissertation I only did it for my LLB.
Oh, I see. Okay. For how many years were you a prosecutor and at which court?
I was
What district, regional, high court?
I didn't go to high court. I was at a district court level, and also as a regional court prosecutor. It was for 7 months, and then
7 months at both district court and regional.
no. It was at the regional court, but from 92 up to 99, about 7 years, I was a prosecutor in a court with full jurisdiction. And before that, I had been a maintenance officer and a maintenance prosecutor for 3 years, and also about 2 years.
Yes. And for how many years were you a district court magistrate?
I was from 1999 up to 1994.
Yes.
Sorry,
I've
1999.
noted it. I just wanted you to give us a year.
It's about
Yes.
4.5 years.
All right. And regional court from 2005, that gives us how many years?
It's about
10,
2000.
11?
Yes, about 11. Although I was already working at from 2004, it's just that 1 year.
You were acting?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And the High Court, I don't know if my calculations are correct. Did you act for a total period of two months, or
Yeah.
am I mistaken?
Yes, it's 2 months.
Yes. And was the transition from working at a magistrate's court environment to acting at a higher court level smooth, or were there some challenges?
No, I would say it was smooth because also the way it is being arranged, because you are tasked with doing that particular case until you finalize it, which is quite strange, unlike when you are doing it in a regional court where you have got to do many cases. I think
Yes.
that's what facilitated me being able to finalize those cases.
Were you able to do some civil work, motion court, or were you confined to your primary areas of responsibilities at regional court level, which is criminal work?
Yeah, I was primarily tasked with criminal court work, but
Yes.
fortunately at some stage I was given some pre-trial matters which I had to do when related to the RAF
Yes.
in terms of Rule 37.
Yes.
So I had a feel of it, how to do it.
Yes. You've never been interviewed by this forum before, have you?
Yeah, that's my first time.
All right. So let me know when you are comfortable and settled. Are you settled, or should I help to make you comfortable?
I think you can go on. Yeah.
We have quite a number of women at district court, regional court level, serving as magistrates. What do you think is the difficulty in having just as high a number at a higher court level, specialist court level, SCA, constitutional court? What do you think is the problem?
I think it's a question of them giving an opportunity for them to get an exposure and to act at those courts. just like myself, I've only gotten an exposure to acting in criminal and not civil. And then also in the past, there was this problem that people who would act in regional court, for example, there would be people from the private sector. So the people in the district court then would be overlooked. But now the situation has improved. I think also with the intervention of the justice system, Department of Justice, they say that then people who must actually be given that opportunity are the ones who are at the district court. They must go up and be given an opportunity and act in the regional court. And then that the people from the private sector start at the district court level. I think it's a question of them being given that opportunity.
Well, it is the district court magistrate who fought. They were insisting.
I beg your pardon,
It is the district court magistrate who were insisting that they be accommodated as well, and I think rightly
yes,
so.
in fact, at
Yes.
some stage, I did make some submission
Yes.
because I'm a member of Aramsa, and we did make that. Yes.
But what about attorneys and advocates? Do we have enough women at that level? Are they properly capacitated to be able to move up? Or are the challenges of the past that caused many to leave the profession still there? According to your knowledge, I know you don't operate in that, on that space.
I think the
necessarily.
pool is quite there, but the issue of them being capacitated, that's the one which I don't think perhaps it has been done and dealt with. Although I'm not so sure the poor mechanism which can be able to enable them to have that opportunity.
Well, let's move to the High Court a bit.
Okay.
Did you find support from senior judges while you were acting there, or did you not need it because you were tackling matters in your field of speciality?
No, in fact, I did get help from them a lot. In fact, because the other thing which I've found it profitable is also to go to attend tea club, go during tea time, and if you've got a problem, discuss it with them, and then it give you an idea how to deal with the issue, or sometimes even give you a case law which is which can help you. So I found that very fruitful. In fact, quite a number of them did assist me.
So this tea does work after all.
So it does. In fact, I remember there was one social context training which we undergo, in fact, dealing with the management, and in fact, they advocated that it's important for us to go there. That's where
Yes.
you get to meet also people, get acquainted with them.
Did you seize the opportunity to attend an aspirant judges program or work or training?
Yes, I did in 2012. I did.
Was it before the tests were introduced, so that it's not just a question of registering your presence, but the extent to which you have been empowered is also tested?
In fact, I can't remember offhand with the basic one because I attended two.
The advanced as well?
Yeah, I did attend the advanced one. The advanced one we did test.
Yes.
And in fact, it was like a simulated exercise, how to deal with the civil court
Yes.
and the motion court, how you can manage it.
Yes.
And then, in fact, I remember one day we slept at around about 3 in the morning.
Yes.
So they were giving us so that an idea and the pressure which we can encounter. In fact, in both causes, we were told that those who have performed well, their names will be given to the JPs so that they can be able to be invited. So I
Yes.
don't know what happened with that. Yes.
Yes. Now, I'm sure you are settled now.
But
You are settled now. You see that you've seen we are friendly people here.
yes, I can see.
Yes. JP? JP, over to you.
Thank you, Chief Justice. I see that you have only acted in the criminal courts and where was that? Was it
In fact, the first one in 2013, it was in Pietermaritzburg.
Yes.
And the second one was when I was invited by you.
Yes.
That was in October up to November.
And that was in Durban, was that?
Yes. In fact, just to point out, in fact, there was an arrangement that I would act in civil, but there were some problems which cropped up. Eventually, I did not act because the ex-JP, Justice Patel, he wanted me to act in 2013. He wanted me to act in was it in June and August. But my president, because he has to liaise with him, he said that because there was some sort of a rotation for other people to act, he said that I cannot indefinitely act myself, so I had to give other people. And then there was a bit of a confusion between June and July, so eventually I did not act. And then also there was an offering in 2014 that I might act also, but I don't know what, and then it fizzled out.
Yes. On the two occasions that you acted in the High Court, it was both in doing criminal sessions. Did you finish your role in the allocated time, or was there any difficulties in doing so?
In fact, I did, although I indicated that the two cases I had finished, it was postponed for judgment and then for sentence.
Yes.
And then the last one, I finished them during the session.
Yes. There are no more part herds as far as the criminal courts are concerned.
No, I don't have any.
Yes. You have now been invited again to do civil duty. I think it's in Durban now, isn't it?
Yeah, we've said, I think you've amended it here, Judge President.
Yeah.
I think you've amended that I should go to Pietermaritzburg.
Yes. Now, while you were acting, what were your challenges in the High Court?
Except that I found that the staff were really, they were helpful, but a little bit, I think the work ethic which I found in Durban was a little bit below what I found in Pietermaritzburg. They were readily available, the ushers, and so a little bit of a problem in Durban.
Was with the court staff?
Yeah, with the court staff.
And as far as the workload is concerned?
No, the workload was manageable. Except that the other challenge which I found was that actually one case which did not proceed was that the proper case law was not properly done because it was found at the time when I was supposed to start the case that it was the person had to be interviewed and found that that person may have a problem with mental capacity. So that person had to be sent to the Fort Napier. So that case fell away. I felt that perhaps it could have been done timeously. I would have also been able to deal with that case.
As far as your civil experience is concerned, were you given an opportunity by the regional president to do any civil work in the regional courts?
Yes, I've been since 2013. I'm doing civil, doing both motion court, and I'm also doing both trials, and I'm also doing both pre-trials. I've just compared some of them. In fact, I was just making my own exercise. I saw some of them, some similarities between what is happening at district and and also some differences. So I've done those.
And any outstanding judgments in the regional court, civil courts?
In civil court, there's none, but there are two parties.
Parties.
Yes.
Now, you also sat as in the commercial crime court, is that correct?
Yes.
And you, in fact, asked to be released from duties there.
Yes.
Why was that?
In fact, as I say, initially when we went there, it was supposed to be on rotation basis. All of us had undergone commercial court courses. So when I was there, as I indicated, some people that are very reluctant to go there. It's still a bit of a problematic court. So after 6 months, I was supposed to have been released as per agreement because it was going to be on rotation. But then, as I say, the judge now, Ms. Judge Cele, asked me, because there were the people also complaining about continuity and changing of the magistrate, and he asked me that then I should continue for about 2 years. So then I agreed. But eventually, because I also enjoyed working there, I think the work ethic of the people and the staff there was impressive, so I could work with the people. So I decided to stay on for a period of 5 years. Then after 5 years, then I decided, no, now I think it's time for other people to come in, and also for time for me to see other horizons, to see and go and do civil.
Yes. Now, not having done any civil work as such in the High Court, in the event of you being appointed to the High Court, do you think not having had the opportunity to see how civil work is done in the High Court, that might be an impediment, that might be a challenge for you?
It might be a challenge, but I think it's a challenge which cannot be overcome. Because also in 2010, we were also trained by judges of the High Court, KZPD. And then actually I was an understudy of Judge Lopes, although it was a short period of time. We could see it was a motion court. We had to go through the files with my colleague, it's Mrs. Keswa. And then after we've gone through those files, we had to submit to him to see our decision, how we dealt with them, whether were they correct. And what we found that was that about 90% or so were correct, and he gave us where we had made some mistake. And then he invited us also to go and watch how he managed the role. And one of which involving a Rule 43A, and he told us how we should deal with it in a robust manner. One of which was also included a summary judgment. One of it also included a divorce. So I had a little bit of a feel how to deal with it.
Yes.
Thank you, JP. Premier?
Thank you very much. Judges are normally assumed or regarded as people who give considered responses all the time. How is it in your case? Are you that kind of a person who gives what you would regard as considered or well-considered responses to questions or matters?
I think so. I try most of the time to do so.
What makes you feel that way?
Because you have to try and understand what a person wants and then apply your mind to the issue at hand and then come with an answer.
I know that, but how do you know you do it? You do it. Who has said to you, you are that type of a person who gives?
I wouldn't say somebody has said so. I think that's what I've tried to do myself, to try and exercise and listen the other side of the story and then come with the input and see how the problem at hand or the answers should be given. So I wouldn't say that somebody has said that to me. That's I endeavor to do that.
This latest response that you are giving, you gave it before I finished saying, before I finished my question. Was it considered?
No, as I say, I would say maybe it's not considered sometimes, but it's endeavor on my part to do so.
Amounting to a wish?
I think it's a skill which one can acquire. Yeah.
The second question that I want to ask is, why do you want to be a judge?
I think I've gotten perhaps an aptitude because of my qualification and the skills which I've acquired over the year and the experience. And that I think is also a natural inclination for one to try and reach perhaps the top, and that believe that have the capacity to do so and make some contribution. And I also believe that the judiciary can also be enhanced and the legitimacy thereof, and also filling the constitutional imperatives of to represent that is in terms of race and gender, and people to continue to have also confidence in the justice system. So I can contribute together with the skills which I believe I have and also the potential which I have.
So how much inspiration do you have of becoming a judge inside yourself, apart from satisfying all these things that you're talking about, but inside you?
Yeah, as I say, I do have it, and I think it's just perhaps a natural inclination for one to try and reach the top and go up the ladder. So I do have it.
The next question is, what challenges are you observing in society that need to be dealt with by the judiciary? Things that you think that look, the judiciary needs to assist or contribute in resolving this and that in society?
I think it's by way also we perform our duties and give reasons, judgment. In other words, so that they know if you have taken a particular decision, these are the reasons, so that they know how have you come.
All right, I see that. You are part of the people who are delivering
Yes.
the justice system as a service to the people. Now,
Yes.
I'm saying, what problems, what challenges are you observing in society that you think that the judiciary need to address or contribute in addressing?
It's for the society, for it to have confidence in the justice system, the way we perform our duties, and that the cases are done promptly and expeditiously, as I say, in a transparent manner that can contribute, and then the people can also then have confidence then in the justice system.
If you have had a chance to listen to your colleagues in the legal circles, what do they say is your reputation?
My reputation. They say I have that legal knowledge, and that also, one would say that some person of integrity, and that I try to give off my level best in a situation.
Thank you, Chief Justice.
Thank you, Premier. Commissioner Nokesi.
Thank you, Chief Justice. I'll ask you on the civil procedure.
Yes, yes.
Like, let's assume you are presiding in a motion court.
Yes.
Where matters are dealt with on papers.
Yes.
What is the cardinal rule in the adjudication on civil matters? The rule, the approach, the proper approach that must be adopted in adjudicating on civil, in an opposed application.
That's too wide. Do you understand it?
Maybe you can.
No, yeah, that's too wide. I think you need to be a bit more pointed.
Let me simply put it in this way. You know that in motion proceedings there will be affidavits, matters will be on affidavit.
Yes.
Now, what I want to know, in accordance with the Plascon Evans case,
Yes.
how the court should adjudicate, that is on the conflicted version as presented in the founding affidavit, answering affidavit, and the replying affidavit, how the court then must adjudicate on the matter.
Okay, it depends if then the matter cannot, it depends if the facts are so much whether they should be dealt on the affidavits. If they cannot, then I think there is an option open that then the matter can be then referred to oral evidence.
And in a motion court, what is your checklist, for instance, in a divorce matter? What should be your checklist?
The checklist, is it an unopposed or?
Yes.
Okay, it's just for the parties there to see that the marriage certificate is there. If not, an explanation whether that is for the copy, and you ascertain the matrimonial regime, whether the parties are they in or out. If they are in, it's with antenuptial contract. You must have that antenuptial contract, and you look at also that the return of service, is it there, okay? And then you look at the particulars of claim, and also you look and what is the prayer.
Lastly, Section 2 of the Constitution states that the Constitution is the supreme law, and any conduct inconsistent with the Constitution is invalid.
Yes.
What is your understanding of supremacy of the Constitution?
Is that is just the overriding law which governs the South Africa, and so that you may come across a legislation which is then inconsistent even with the with the Constitution, then it's open to judicial review if somebody brings it to court, and then it can be struck out and set aside because it is inconsistent. Similarly, even any conduct of a state organ, then if it is inconsistent, then it's open to attack. So it's an overriding and law which governs our country.
Thank you, Commissioner Nokesi. Commissioner Semenya?
Chief Justice, thank you. Madam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Outside the criminal sphere of the law, how have you tried to acquaint yourself with the application of constitutional law?
Application of
Constitutional law.
in other words, you say outside the sphere of, come again?
Criminal law. Besides your contact with the Constitution in a criminal environment, criminal law environment, how else have you tried to familiarize yourself with its application in other spheres of the law?
Okay, maybe I'll take you back. Although it was, I would say it's a pre-constitutional era at that time, but it has since been incorporated to the Constitution. There's a case which I attached that related to where I was challenging the transfer, where the Administrative Act, I felt that it was procedurally unfair because the right of a hearing had not been given. So it actually pertained to administrative law. And then that case, I think it's Hlonga versus Minister of KwaZulu. You find that the principles, but it was not, there were other precedents before it which were being followed. And then you find that in terms of, I think Section 34, if not mistaken, you find that there's a just administrative action. And then actually there's also a legislation which deals with the promotion of administrative justice. So in other words, was to make the law work outside the criminal setting.
I'm trying to establish whether you do some reading in that area or you read other judgments or...
Yes, so when the time permits, I do the reading, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Chief Justice.
Thank you, Commissioner Semenya. Commissioner Foree?
Thank you, Chief Justice. Good morning.
Good morning.
Or good afternoon, actually.
Good afternoon,
See,
yes.
it's 1 o'clock. We know that you've acted for a limited period in the High Court, and we know that you've only done criminal work. So as you sit here, you have no civil experience whatsoever in the High Court.
Mm-hmm.
You've said that you've done some civil work in the Magistrates Court, but I assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the bulk of the work that you are doing and have been doing in the Magistrates Court is criminal work.
Yes.
Now, that concerns me, obviously, from an experience point of view. And can you really, with persuasion, tell me today that you think you are ready to take a permanent appointment in the High Court?
Yes, I'm aware of that. That's, one would say, to a limited extent, put me at a disadvantage. But that's from 2013 up to now, as I've indicated, I've done civil court. And in fact, I've made a comparison, although I can not remember them offhand now. I was looking at the rules which I'm applying where I am. It's more or less akin, and they intend to mirror the one which are in High Court, although there are slight differences which I've just observed.
Yes. You've read the comments from the KwaZulu-Natal Society of Advocates.
Yes.
Can you blame them if they say Ms. Maphumulo is barely known to those who frequent the High Court. We venture to suggest that this is simply because she has not acted sufficiently in that court. We have reservations in regard to her experience at the stage to take up a position in the division. We are simply unable at this stage, with the limited material at hand, to state with any degree of confidence that we would be able to support Ms. Maphumulo's nomination for a vacancy on the KZN division of the High Court. Can you blame them for those comments?
No, I cannot blame them for those comments, but at the same time, sometimes the opportunity to act does not lie with the individual. It's when we are given that opportunity. As I say, there were some which were missed in 2013. There was also some which I missed, which I should have gone there in 2014. So I cannot blame them because they've not seen me. But some of them who have come to the regional court, I've seen some of the senior counsel, they've also come to do civil at the regional court. So I cannot blame them. But at the same time, sometimes the opportunity to act is something which is given to you. Yeah.
But you are getting the opportunity again now, I understand.
Yes.
A last question from the KZN Society of Advocates. You've said you've done civil work in the magistrates' court.
Yes.
Now, they confirm that to say she also acted in the civil branch of the regional court for a brief period. But then they say a member of our society reported that a wrongful judgment arrest, a judgment in a wrongful arrest trial, where heads were delivered and oral argument concluded on 31 July 2015, is still outstanding. Is that correct?
No, that one has been given, but there was a delay.
When was that given?
I think it was given a week ago.
A week ago.
Yes.
So it's been is it correct that it's been outstanding since July of 2015?
It was the end of July.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Chief Justice.
Thank you, Commissioner Fourie. Commissioner Didiza.
I will pass, CJ.
Thank you. Commissioner Ntlama.
Thank you, CJ. Good afternoon, Judge. Yes.
Good afternoon.
Okay. One is a follow-up on your response. How is race and gender going to legitimize the confidence of the public in the judiciary? And secondly, how is your appointment, if we do give you the opportunity, going to transform the judiciary?
I think it's also one of the constitutional imperatives that, in terms of Section 174, where those are the factors which should be considered. And that also, I think it will tend to enhance the legitimacy in the eyes of the public. And that, so it would have that effect, and that have confidence if they see there are people also presiding. Yes.
So does it mean the confidence has to develop by blackness in the judiciary?
No. It's required of the diligence and competence of the judicial officer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then your appointment, how is it going to affirm the transformation of the judiciary if we do give you an opportunity?
I think with my skills and my work ethic, and then bringing it into the bench, then would that not mere by race and also gender only. This is what I also I bring in, and also the background which I come from a previously disadvantaged community. That it will then enhance the legitimacy of the justice system. Yes.
So your previous disadvantaged background,
Yes.
should have an impact on the determination on whether you do have the requisite skills to the bench?
It's just that it is in fact, there was a course which we attended. It was social context training course, which says that it tells us when dealing with people who have been subjected to unfair discrimination, and that how we can deal with sensitivity with those who've got disability, who are blind, all those type of people, and that we should be sensitive, and that we should not apply stereotype when dealing with them. In other words, just be aware how we deal with those type. I think with that will also help.
Thank you. Your excuse, Ms. Maphumulo.
Okay, thanks.
Colleagues, it's time to take a lunch break. How long should it be? 30 minutes, 45 minutes? 45 for digestion. Okay, it's 6 minutes past 1 already. So we come back what time?
Thank you.